say a big thank you to every one of you guys. Just by way of announcement, we are working with other radio stations in addition to what we currently have. And there is a good news coming up, but it has to be supported with some financial contribution. This financial contribution is going to be dedicated to one of the big five. He will be responsible to ensure that whatever we pay, because myself, I'm going to pay as well. Because you know what? We are the independent supporter of Mr. Cummings, and we want to make sure that whatever it takes in terms of opportunity, media opportunities, we are trying every means possible to get our voices heard across the 15 counties, because our goal here is to make sure that by December, when you visit Liberia and you go to Cape Mount, you go to Senye, you go to Bukonjiri, we want people to say, yes, we are aware of Mr. Cummings and we understand his vision. That is my goal. And, here we set goals, we set targets to get things done by working towards it. So welcome on board. If you come in here, we hope that you stay here. This is a place that we don't look for thousands of people, because we want our message to reach to thousands of people and not to have thousands of people watching us here. And the millions of people in Liberia are the one that we are looking and targeting. Election look at targets. Election look at demographic. Election look at geographic. And those are the areas that we are looking to see. So we are working on that. And as soon as the process become available in terms of the broadcast, we will let you guys know. All right. So one of the big 10, I want to say thank you for giving me that update. Very soon, I will be letting you guys know. I want to be like Mr. Cummings, to dedicate responsibility, because that's what we do in this country here. I don't want to be the one to do all the responsible work. No, I want to dedicate responsibility. My job here, my primary job here, is to make sure that I provide you with all the resources in terms of domestic, international, and maybe virtual, because that the new world we're going to go live in a virtual world, right? So now it's not going to just be domestic and international. We're going to do the virtual world now, because Mark Zuckerberg is working towards the virtual world now, where you can do things and by means of virtual reality. So there are three different types of world we're going to be living in now. And thank God for Facebook. Thank God for Mr. Cummings for putting some of us in a position. I work very hard under pressure, and I love working under pressure, because it expands my mind, it expands my ability to think more and to go beyond my limit, which I really appreciate. And also you guys keep coming here. Trust me, I'm very excited about you guys coming out here, because I know and I believe in the 20/80 rule. The 20% information that you guys get as 20% here will be taken to the 80% out there, because there are many people out there who have been corrupted by their minds of the CDC-led official and government. We have to work hard to be able to uncorrupt their mind, to make them whole again. They were not born to be corrupt, but they are being made to be corrupt. And something that is made, we can make it unmade. All right. So we'll do everything possible. Let me say good morning to my soldier here, Sis Montreal. Good morning to you. And I would like to thank every one of you guys. I've been going through the comments of video. After the broadcast this morning, I went to bed to take a nap to re-energize myself. When I woke up this morning, I tend to listen to the video, and as you started with me, I will listen to the video, and I think some of the messages from Mr. Cummings is part of the broadcast here, and I have gone through it. We will try to catalog that into our broadcast about the coming vision, and we'll get to listen to it more, and in time to come, we will get to analyze what he said or whatever. But one thing I want to say, and very straight here, is Mr. Cummings is saying it is not enough just to what? To just suspend you guys. Suspension is not part of the corrective action here, Mr. Weir. Suspension is not part of the corrective action here. It is belated. It should have been done when you have empowered the financial integrity institution in the country that could carry out the internal audit and then present you with a report, and then with that action or course of action, suspend the guy. But now when an international, a partner, a big hand that is responsible for global compliance when it comes to financial responsibility comes out and say, these guys are bad, do not keep them. It means that it is beyond repair. It is damaging. And in order for you to keep your relationship with these people, You have to do what it is. Cut them off. Cut them off. Let them go. Then you will be whole again. Because right now, Mr. Weir, you are being considered as a non-compliance country now as it relates to the United States. Maybe the people in your office don't understand how it means, because the U.S. Department of Treasury, when they issue those sanctions, it is something that we call enforcement action. Because when they release the act to you under the Federal Code of Registry, when they establish the regulations, they tell you what the expectation will be, what you're supposed to do, and to stay in compliance. The last thing they want to do to you is enforcement. So what happened to the Liberian government under the three axis of evil, corrupt people, as I call them to be? So the new word for them here is they are the three axis of evil, corrupt official. They are not nobody with any integrity anymore, folks. They are nobody with integrity. Because remember, Sergei Magnitsky died in Russia prison because he was fighting for the common people that were being corrupted by people who had the power. And they beat that man to death. They beat that man to death. All because he was fighting for those who don't have the education, the experience, but are part or were part of that country culture. But they didn't give it to them. So when you are part of any government structure across the world, and you are part of the international community for a better universe, and you have officials in your government that continue to corrupt the system, the U.S. and other meaningful nations see you as someone who also contributed to beating Mr. Sergei Magnitsky to death. That is what your action means to them. And when they found out that you as a president not doing anything, then you are in serious trouble. And then they will pull you in a non-compliant status. And that is why yesterday we saw Mr. McGill name, Mr. Bill Trawitt name, and then of course, Mr. what you might call it. I hate to call that guy name, to be honest with you. And, you know, I hate to call that guy name because that guy, the thing he did to Mr. Cummings, he was taking it to be fun. Every time he shows up, either he wore, a Madonna suit, he thought it was fun by tormenting somebody that had nothing to do with it. I don't hate him as a human being, but I just dislike what he did to Mr. Cummings because he knew exactly what he was doing was nothing but wrong. It was out of pocket. It was not in compliance with any judicial or any legal practice in our country. He knew it was wrong. But you know why? When God is on your side, nothing can last forever that someone is trying to put against you. Today, he is in the worst situation that he thought he wanted to put Mr. Cummings in. So he has to live with that. And that is why when I'm listing the three axes of evil individual, when it comes to his name, I have some reservation. My words are hitching, like remember, hitching in my mouth to come outside because it gave me some, very hippie-jippy feelings, if you don't mind me using that word, to talk about him. Because he's nothing but a dirty, corrupt individual. So, Mr. Weir, you are in non-compliance. If you think by suspending these people, that's not a corrective action there, my friend. You need an immediate corrective action, and part of that corrective action will mean getting rid of those guys. Cut them off. Cut them off. That will send a message to the U.S. government that you are in full compliance with what it is believed to be your intention of having equity in your leadership. But by you protecting them, by suspending them, the U.S. government doesn't work for you. They are bigger than you. They came and let you know that you failed to remain compliant and to implement what you agreed to as partner of the United States and all other countries that honor that particular Magnitsky Act. And if you don't do that and you keep suspending them, no, it's wrong. The American, they did not suspend Russia because she invaded Ukraine. No, they sanctioned them because they want something to be done. That is to stop the invasion. They suspended the 3 officials because of what they had done. Corruption, like Mr. Biden said, it doesn't only impede democracy. It prevents children and other people from benefiting for a better, for a future. And you cannot do that, Mr. Weir. Whoever giving you the ears, I hope there will be somebody in your circle that will tell you, Mr. Weir, you might want to watch old video on YouTube about sanction. Because I'm telling you guys, if Mr. Weir doesn't do these things, they're going after him big time. You cannot defy the United States. They play it professionally with you, but you cannot defy them. These guys, and that's what they said. The ambassador said that, and Mr. Comey said that. This sanction is not on the Liberian government. It's not on the Liberian people. You see the sanction in Russia, it affects the whole country. To the unborn baby, to the president of Russia. This sanction on Liberia only affected 3 people. And for the sake of 3 people, you want to compromise the entire country, Joshua? That will not happen. That will not happen. So think logically and don't think personally. Think logically. The logic here is it's only 3 people and you got to get rid of them. But if you think that, oh, I'm going to think personally because Maggie is my friend, then you are on the wrong side of history, my friend. All your Ballon d'Or thing. And don't be surprised. America got the right to reverse that your Ballon d'Or. Yeah. They got the right to reverse your Ballon d'Or. Just like everyone on earth. You can get your degree here. If a university get ready and say, my man, we're going to revoke your degree. You don't get that degree no more. So, Mr. Let me give you some important things that you don't understand. If you continue, the European Union, the football organization can get together and say, based on what the guy has done, we are going to revoke his Ballon d'Or. So if you don't understand that, it is possible, George, let me tell you, there is nothing permanent. There is nothing permanent. You know what they can never revoke in the world? It is your place of birth. Your place of birth cannot be revoked. But any document that is given to you, whether it is your credential as a PhD or whatever candidate, whether it is your citizenship, where you obtain your second citizenship, those things can be revoked and you will go back. So, Mr. Weir, those titles are given to you based on human rights and other good things you have done. So if you continue to compromise the people, because remember, you got that Ballon d'Or based on the population support for what you did that was humanly pleasing to the world. And they say, yes, they may deserve the Ballon d'Or here. So inversely, if you continue to suffer the Liberian people, they will revoke that Ballon d'Or. It will become very useless to you. Useless to you, Mr. Weir. And this is how far it can go. And the U.S. is capable of doing that. Because when they ready to humiliate you, Mr. Weir, they will humiliate you to nothing. To nothing. And why? Because of my getting business. And let no sedition that is so dumb think that they will be giving you the wrong advice. You don't mess with people. That's the last thing you want to do. I would rather keep my Ballon d'Or and then do things for the Liberian people. So I want for sedition to understand this. The U.S. got that power to reverse that Ballon d'Or that you always brag about. Because that's the only PhD you got now. That's the only PhD you got. They can reverse that thing. That means they can go and say, based on so and so, we don't think Mr. Weir is part of, because the people who want the Ballon d'Or are people with good character, good image. And they don't want you with that kind of bad image to be part of them. No, they will revoke that thing and you will be left with nothing. And every good thing they have said that will put on the internet, they can go and start to kill everything and put in the bad things for you. Why? Because of McGill. Why? Because of Mr. Bill Tuawe. Why? Because of Mr. Serena Sifos. No. Put the Liberian people first, George Weir. This is a serious advice to you. You don't take advice. You think passing around over there. What we didn't see about Samuel Kanyando. You know, I think we need to start teaching leadership courses in our country. offer courses in our country. Those who are historian, I'm not a historian, I'm an engineer. I just find pleasure in talking politics because it's part of my hobby. But those who are historians that want to teach the future generation and the current leadership, they need to start teaching some history in our country. Because I think most of the public officials in the country today really don't understand what leadership is, when and how they should respond to things. They don't have the knowledge in there. And that's one of the reasons why we're struggling today. Because we allow people who are considered to be our mouthpiece out there that will come and tell us, say, the man looking for a job, the man doing this, the man doing that. Those are the people that we depend on, our public officials depend on to speak on their behalf, which is wrong. I think taking leadership classes and looking at past leaders in a country, especially on the continent of Africa, will help. Because when Doe was in power and it was announced that he should, how they call it, George W. Bush or cutting tie with America, with Liberia, Doe went to PV Red Lake, all right, in that same Oswego County. We pay the poor money back. We pay the money back. Tomorrow come and populate it around. Everybody start putting money together. That was one of the dumbest things I ever saw in my life. And do you think we have learned from that? No. Do you think we have learned from that? No. The Emmanuel Shaw men are sitting down. We are over there. Let me tell you about Emmanuel Shaw. Emmanuel Shaw always sleep with his passport in his back pocket because he know anytime he can run away. Anytime he can run away. When Liberia was at war, Emmanuel Shaw was selling our two major airlines to an international investor. Yes, he sold the plane. When Ellen took office, New Day, Emmanuel Shaw came and said that he was suing Liberia. The U.S. told him, say, and he stopped. Do you think Emmanuel Shaw in your interest, Joshua? Ellen Une planted Emmanuel Shaw behind you to monitor your activities. To monitor your activities. So if you think you know Emmanuel Shaw, let America come in there and say, Emmanuel Shaw, deliver Joe Weah to us. Let's see whether Emmanuel Shaw will decide to protect you or protect himself. You are dealing with people who had been there and done that before George Weah. But you know why? One thing I would like for Joe Weah to watch, if you ask me, I would like to put Joe Weah in a very close room and put a Samuel Kayando video up. You know, when I saw how people tied Doe that time, the only thing that was in my mind, I wanted to do that time, it was to just go to Doe and ask him and say, Doe, are you really feeling the pain here right now? Yes. Now, Doe, do you really have a sense of hearing? And he tells me, yes. Why, when people telling you to do the right thing, you're refusing? You know, there is one fundamental behavior of the African people. One fundamental behavior about the African leader. They always like to be dragged. I don't know, it's something that is part of our DNA, right? There are times you will find people running away from punishment. They will run away. Even the Saddam Hussein men went in the hole, he hide. They grab him from in the hole. Saddam or Gaddafi went in the hole, he hide. But when it comes to the black man, the ability to listen is so difficult. We all know what happened in our country, not only to Samuel Kanyando, but to Charles Taylor. But he had remained completely tone deaf to things. Then now when they grab him one of the days and say they carry him to court and they're going to lock him up for years. Then that when the sorrowful heart of Manila, bro, oh, you forget it, man. You forget it, man. But the thing the man doing right now, he not taking no action. You don't know. I hope your son will call you and tell you, say, Daddy, you got to let the thing go. Because we are one of God and say they're coming for you. Your Ballon d'Or will not save you, my friend. You see Taylor Hall today? They fly them all taking charge of it. You are not the first guy. Neither will you be the last guy. If you continue to put more suffering on the Liberian people, Mr. Weah, they will come for you. And they will lock you up. And you will never see the day of light. They finna bundle, they cloud Weah, they Kalasco then. They will move on with their life. They will not care for you. It is you that will face those 3 walls and that iron gate. And what you going to tell the person in there? I was a Ballon d'Or winner. They will tell you want the stupidest man that ever lived on the face of the planet. How much could your one take that you couldn't share with the people. There are great people today that are in jail. And if you ever ask them if they can do what they did, they will tell you, say, no, I just need that second chance. But you got that chance, but you're abusing it. To every long rope, there is an end. Liberians have seen things in the past, and they have seen the end. And you are not the first person. Your stubbornness is not bigger than America. Your stubbornness is not bigger than the people of Liberia. Whoever gave you that advice, the best things to do is to put in place an immediate corrective action. Step one, let the guys go. Who gave a damn whether Bill Travis say, oh, I used to get your way at $1 million? Nobody gave a damn. You are doing the right thing. You cut them off and send them from prosecution. It's right within your own circle. You control the prosecution. You can put them in jail. President can issue clemency at the end of a term. Lock the buckers up. I shouldn't be giving the advice to begin with. Sir. I shouldn't be giving the kind of advice here. Because I should be paid for this, right? Yeah, I should be paid for this. There are people who commit heinous crimes in America here. When the president is leaving office, he provides executive clemency to some of the crimes, right? Scooby Levy, the man who took the bullet for George Bush, and he got free. But if you don't do it, and no people come for you, no United States president is going to give you executive clemency because I don't know whether you're a U.S. citizen or not. That is yet to be verified because I want to see things before I verify. But if you are that, you are a president of another country that will come for you and it will put you in there. Check how they got chancellor today. Nobody can get chancellor executive clemency. Not even the United Nations Secretary General cannot do that. So you need to face these people and let them go. The question here is, are you willing to take 3 people under your arm and put the massive population of Liberians in a continuous suffering? That is what I want you to think about today, Mr. Weir. Think about that. Think about that. You think Samuel 12 will be looking at himself and say, oh, let me go stand there for George Weir? No. Why you think Samuel 12 looking at his knee like that on that phone? Because the thing I'm going through Samuel 12, man, damn, you want to tell me I'm going to go back to my life, my day of poverty? No. What has happened now is what we call setting the tone, Mr. Weir. The U.S. government now has informed the Liberian population of people that we are watching corrupt people. They are giving you the assistance now. Even if you are afraid to face these guys, why can't you just use the U.S. now and say, look, gentlemen, I'm only doing my job to be in compliance with the international standard now and best practices. They got already nailed 3 of our men. Gentlemen, let's be serious here. Anyone you guys want to be sanctioned yet? No. Do I want to be sanctioned yet? No. Let's do what it takes and make sure that we get defeated and lead it here and move on. But if you think you want to take that battle to those guys, putting those children in the street, sanction, no sanction, we inside. You know, I look at every generation, it's very laughable to me, right? When the war was coming in 1990, Samuel Kanyando recruited young people they call the EDA 90. They say, oh, we're going to fight a rebel. Today, they are all history. They never lived to see today. When Charles Taylor King, boy, he came and he came and pa, we vote for him. That generation remains today. And Charles Taylor is gone. You today, George Weir, you got young boy in the street. Sanction, no sanction. George Weir, you really understand these things? I mean, do you really sit down and think? Like your people will say, did you take your med? Or are you taking your med? Are you taking your med, George Weir? Because you continue to humiliate some of the friends. You in Maswaro County passing over there. You know in your heart what you're doing over there. It is not really settling well with you. You are in 2 states of mind right now as you go around. You know what will make you happy, Weir? If you have fired the 3 guys, it will even giving you more energy to speak to the people of Maswaro County. In that thing we call your rating going up. If you had done that, the opposition will come and say, thank you, Mr. Weir. Because one thing I understand about Mr. Cummings, if anyone does the right thing, he will come and commend you. That one thing everyone who follows Mr. Cummings religiously will admire of him. When anyone does the right thing, he will give you that flower and say, thank you for doing the right thing. And you think Mr. Cummings' message today, let's say when you got that message the next day, when you issue that suspension, and you have said, these guys have been fired. Even if you didn't mention about the prosecution, I'm sure Mr. Comey will kind of say, you know why? Let us first thank Mr. Weir for taking that step. Because there are steps you must take to accomplish what you want to, what you're planning to achieve. But you have not done any of these things. And then you continue going around to the people. What are you doing to the people? You going to embolden Nathaniel McGill? You want Terry McGill better than you, Josh Weir? You say you know everything. Go and call some of your your former football player then and say, I have been sanctioned. Go and ask them, what steps should I take? Go out there. If you don't believe in some of us, go out there and ask some of your footballer friends then. Call them. Call them up. Some of them are politically, knowledgeable. And let them tell you what's going on. But you're playing with the wrong thing, Joshua. One thing I can tell you, that Ballon d'Or you're bragging about, those guys got a good mind. They can recommend that thing to be revoked. They can take it from you. They can take it from you. And there's nothing you can do about it. Not to mention about who you are. Not to mention about who you are. You know what I'm talking about? All right? Not mention about who you are. So this is something I call protecting your own legacy. Protecting your own what? Legacy. All the hanky-panky guys that around here who claim to be supporting you, if they ask them right now, do you support George Weah? And are you willing to be deported to Liberia? Those people in broad daylight will tell you, say, I should say yes to support George Weah so you can deport me to Liberia? No, that's not going to happen. I love myself first, so I will stay here. They will do that. They will definitely do those things. So I'm telling you, because I want the failure you have continued to live through your ability not to listen. Many Liberians who live in this country and understand how the U.S. operates, you don't have those circle of people around you to tell you what the U.S. is capable of doing and at what time the U.S. will strike and what it means. A sanction on your government is a very bad transcript. It's a very bad transcript for you. It is a very bad transcript for you. It is a very bad record for you, Mr. Weir. That's going to live on your record for a very long time. Do not allow these guys around here who continue to give you false impression. Who continue to give you false impression? What does Prince Sherry know about Prince Sherry own apartment complex he lives in? He cannot even make a case over the owner of the apartment complex. That man that will can't tell the people here, oh, you may not mind the sanction. You see how some Liberians, they are so low in their thinking. And just where you want to believe the kind of thing. I'm sorry, you got a very bad foreign minister because he got his own thing to worry about too. You got a foreign minister that don't even travel out of the country. He stay more local than any other minister in the country. Because if you had a very seasoned foreign minister, he will sit with you and tell you, say, Mr. Weir, this thing should not be taken for granted. We are putting everything at risk, even with the ability of getting re-elected. We are putting everything at risk. You have to let these guys go. And be the one to redefine your leadership here. But you think they're going to do those things? No. It just goes to show that's how we are run his government. And there will be a very sad day. And I'm going to say this with a very clear mind. I am going to recommend today that we should never ever put any semi-educated person into that leadership of our country. I am very dead serious. I'm not going to say damn serious. I am very serious about this because when it comes to making sound decisions, when you're dealing with the United States of America and Liberia as a part of the international community, we want to have people who are very sound-minded individual. I don't care whether your high school education was well taken in by yourself, as long as you understand what it means to make what we call an intelligent decision, we will accept you to be president of Liberia rather than you say you got a master and you don't understand what is the difference between a bad decision and an intelligent decision. I don't think Mr. Weir understands what is happening right now. He doesn't understand this thing that's going on. And because you got those buffoons around him and he good for nothing, low-level sedition across the world, call themselves parties that don't understand nothing, kind of make me to worry, to think about what do they do for a living. Because if you know what is happening to your country, it's like your company come and tell you, say, we're going to lay off people. Are you going to go into your bank account and start emptying your money right there? No. You're going to tell your family, the company is going to lay me off. We got to be very responsible now how we utilize things until we can find another job. These men have been sanctioned. There could be more other consequences that will follow. Like somebody won't tell me, you got to be held accountable for the consequences of your bad behavior. And nobody here is willing to tell Mr. Weir that. Nobody. Nobody. These people will drive you in the dream, Mr. Weir, and in the end, they will tell you, say, I only did what I could do. But what are they doing today now for you and I out here to see what they are doing? Nothing. Mr. Weir, you are on the wrong side of Liberian history. You are not going to be counted among the best presidents that Liberia ever had. This is your opportunity to redeem yourself, to save yourself. Failure to do so, Mr. Weir, you will regret everything. And make no mistake, that your son called Timothy, he is within the American value system. If you get busted, Timothy will tell people that I have a very good mom, but not a so good father. Michael Jackson did that. The American children, they believe in their image building. Most often, this athlete in America here will always lean towards their moms because their moms are cool. And if you think Timothy is going to give you anything, you're wasting your time. He is a U.S. citizen. He lives by the U.S. value system here. He's not going to do things for you when you are a bad parent. Bad parent. He's not going to do that for you. I want to be honest with you. And these are the hardcore one-on-one conversations that people need to have with Mr. Weir. Because that man never grew up in an intelligence circle of people. No. He only grew up in people who just tell him whatever he believes are the right things. But the situation Mr. Weir found himself in today, it is not something to be taken to be taken lightly. It is something that is very, very big to our country. It is a decision that will determine whether he's willing to work with the U.S. or not. And I think that's the direction he's trying to take right now. But I'm hoping that Mr. Weir, after this show here, you will rekindle, you will reconsider your decision. You will reconsider your decision. Yes, you will reconsider your decision to let you guys go. You cannot put your family at risk. You cannot put your character at risk. You cannot put the country at risk for protecting these guys. If these guys were in your shoe, they will let you go. They will let you go. These guys do not love that country. Bill Tuawe, history of Bill Tuawe. Bill Tuawe got elected by sedition. When he became representative of Riverside County, he crossed carpet and went to Ellen for almost 6 years. When he was about to go for re-election, Bill Tuawe came back to the party and they kicked Kanyo Bara out of that district to put Bill Tuawe there. Minnepago Des Moines can relate to that because Minnepago Des Moines and Kanyo Bara used to be on Kiss FM talking for George Weir. But after Bill Tuawe left and John Ellen for 6 years as the Unity Party president, he came right back. And that even further proof to what I always say. You don't have to leave your party to vote against George Weir. Bill Tuawe left CDC and supported Ellen. And after Ellen turned over, he came right back. Why did he do that? Because he felt at that time was the right decision. So sedition, what Bill Tuawe had done, I don't need to tell you guys. I only come to give you a reminder of what Bill Tuawe did to you guys. Eugene Number did the same thing too, right? He left CDC and stuck with Ellen for almost 10 years. And after that, what did he do? He came back to CDC. So if these guys can be playing you, why don't you guys tell them that we're not stupid here? We're going to vote for Cummings too. And we'll stay in the CDC party to see what Cummings got to offer for us. All it takes is somebody to come here and remind you guys. And this is why the platform is more informative than being very entertaining. We are not spoon here. Because everything Spoon put out there, when you measure the output of the people in the country, it means nothing. Anything you do, you must measure your success. Spoon continue to bring government officials on their platform, but when you see what they ask and what they say, it doesn't embolden the people who are in the authority to carry out these things. Like I said, McGill behavior was contributed and supported by Spoon as well. Because whatever McGill did, the people on Spoon, when they brought him there, they didn't ask him the tough question. That should have given you the sense to understand that McGill was doing the wrong thing. They carried toward there. And they carried even Bill Twaway and other people went on that platform, as I understood. But they never measured this guy by asking them what their responsibility are. But here, we will give you the ability to understand things so that you can make an informed decision. When people establish any institution, there must be a reason, a vision, a goal as to why they establish these things. There must be a reason because they will question you. Everything that McGill did, if McGill had ever shown up on any platform where they will say, McGill, yes, all the houses you're building, all the allegations here. Do you mind telling the Liberian people what's going on here? And do you think, President, we are agree to what you're doing? When you start asking the explosive question, they will start backing away. They will say, don't go over there. They'll gather there to expose you. But your Spoon never did that. When you hear people saying we want to go back to Taylor, we want Taylor to come back, Joe, we ain't doing well. What does that tell you about the people with the bigger platform who inform the Liberian people? They have been misleading the people because they are not giving the people the information that will embolden them. They are not challenging public officials about their responsibility. They are not calling on them and say, since you've been in there, what has been your goal for this ministry here? I'm looking at the document, say the function of the ministry is this. So what are you doing to improve? You're getting budget from the fiscal budget, right? Yes. What program have you put in place? How is the program? How do you measure your input of what you have done that benefited Liberian people? Do you think the guy had those things on Spoon? No. You just go there for political entertainment. That's what you go there for. But some of you guys live in this country. And you'll see what's going on here. So when I talk about Spoon is a major contributing factor to the failure of government officials, one reason, they invite these people, they don't do no research on the ministry or agency the people represent. What are the functions of that ministry? How does that particular leader or minister or director in that ministry, what are they doing with the budget, what program, and how are they measuring the success of that program as it relates to what they are being paid for? They don't ask those questions. They don't ask those questions. But these people are getting paid all the time, right? But they do not ask those questions of those people. So how do you expect the society to learn? The fourth estate is a branch of society that must provide question to public officials that will give the population an understanding as to what is being done or what are being done. They got a bigger platform, so we got to come after them, right? They got a bigger platform. And you saw how they went after Mr. Cummings, right? Every day that even Elisha told me a statement, and they said, oh, Elisha told her wrong. But when it comes to the government official, they bring them and put them in a comfortable chair and give them a babe. Yeah, Mr. McGee, yeah, hot thing, now, with all the things the man had done, the white man came and said, you know what? You guys are a bunch of good for nothing people. This man have been stealing right before your eyes. And here are the evidence. And that's why one time can make me wonder that the white man system is better than the black man system. I don't care how you feel about it. And I live in the white man system. And I tell you guys that these guys are not doing nothing to empower and embolden the people in that country. They are just entertainers. So somebody come from the outside and come and say, these guys are stealing for the country. And you're bringing them on your platform and you're not questioning them. We must have institutions that must set goal, objective, and begin to act upon them. And these guys were being asked on every platform they go about their job function and how well they function in that capacity as head of that ministry or agency. How well are they doing to impact the life of the people, to change the life of the people? What are the program? What are the report? Today, Liberian will be very abreast and informed to what's going on. But do you see them doing that? How much do you know about Nathaniel McGill behavior that you can relate to the bigger platform he sat on or he sat on in the past and say, yes, I think somebody asked this question here. They never did. Because you know why? The Spoon Network got people who are very corrupt. Corrupt. And how do you expect a corrupt man? The Americans are fighting against corruption, right? When you got people who are financially irresponsible that sit on a Spoon Network. Man, that Benjamin Senvi took $45,000 from the Liberian government with the intent of creating a job. What job has he created? And where is that money today? Can you stand for Benjamin Senvi in the country to go borrow for the $5,000 from any institution in the country here? What do you think is going to happen to you if you stand for Benjamin Senvi and he doesn't pay that money back? What is going to happen to you? This is where the Webman system better than our system. Because you know you don't try that kind of bullshit here. But then you allow that clown to sit over there and want to question people. What makes you think he's going to question people based on what he has done? And this is where the integrity comes in. And this is why Joe, we need to get rid of these guys. Because most of the guys with a bigger platform don't even have respect for financial integrity. They don't give a damn about who sit on their platform. What they always say, when you lose money, it doesn't affect you. When you lose your job, it affects you, but not to a greater extent. But when your character is damaged, you are nobody. You are nobody. And that's why in this country, we always fight hard and hard and hard to maintain our character in this country. What got you and myself going in the country here? It is our character. Whether it is credit, good behavior in the community, good relationship with people at your place of work. It is your character. And how do we measure our character in this country? By doing what it takes. And then when you sit down and see a panel of people sitting down there and try to do things, do you expect any integrity to come out of that? Absolutely no. So when you see this guy on Spoon sitting down over there and trying to do this here, you know, I got no issue with Dr. Francine, right? But when you think God is Sean Hannity during the Obama administration, Sean Hannity will go sit down in a chair across Obama as a Republican radio commentator and be laughing. No. Sean Hannity will say, I'm going over there to embarrass Mr. Obama. Or I'm going to embarrass Joe Biden. Because you know why? My party is better than what they're doing in our U.S. government. I saw Dr. Francine in a picture sitting down over there, smiling with my girl. And why you think that image? When people say, picture speak 1,000 your words, what does that mean? And that what embolden him more. And then when they get in all the BB SUV, how did Maggie get all that SUV? Who money was spent on it? Now you realize now that the U.S. government said Maggie have been misusing the government money. So can McGill now be audited to tell you guys, Mr. Witherspoon, you and your team, all the big SUV are riding. Where did that money come from? I guess some of you guys are getting mad with me now, but I ain't get a damn about you guys. I believe that Mr. Cummings said in his speech that anyone who works in his government that is corrupt, he will punish them. And it's from that message that I'm asking this question today. You are a radio talk show host that want to bring light to the people. What Maggie did for these people is called gift. It's called gift. In the corporate world, we call that gift. You invite them, you give them cars. The reason you get in that car, so that when they come on, when you come on their show, you will be feeling sorry for them. Wow, when that brother got get all the next car and stuff, so we can ask him questions. And that is why some corporation will tell you, we do not accept gift. My girl, thank you for your ride. We'll call a cab to carry oil around. We'll call a pen to carry oil around. But these people left from here and went over there and started with my girl in the big SUV. We call that gift. And this is where the inexperience of these guys come from. And this is why I don't watch these guys. Because these guys are not ready, senior and experienced people. And we must educate you guys. You don't take gift. You do not take gift. What my girl do for the guy is nothing but gift. You know how many people visit Liberia and they don't get in that SUV that Maggie gave to the guys? There are a lot of people that go over there. A lot of people go over there, right? Me, you, and myself. I mean, for me, I haven't gone. But a lot of you people go over there. Have you seen the government giving you comfort? No. So then why would he guy from Spoon go sit over there? Let's be real with ourselves here. The change must start with us. The change must start with us. Now what we need to do. Mr. Witherspoon and his team should have said, no, Mr. McGill, thank you very much. We are here for them for the Liberian people. The SUV you giving to us here, we don't see you giving it to the common people around here. So why would you want to make us so special here? No, you can't make us special here. He gave them what they call gift. And when somebody gave you gift, you have to return them back. And this is why the lack of experience comes in. And I will tell you guys a story. You know, when I was over a project as an environmental scientist, we sent out bid to different companies. The other first guy came and gave me 76 ticket along with eco tickets. Very ignorant guy like me. I took the ticket and ran to my manager and told him, the VP for operations. Say, hey, the guy gave me ticket. He said, what? What do you mean? I said, well, he likes me. He said, no, that's a gift. I said, really? He said, yes. And he said, that ticket he gave you, if you decide which one of the consulting firms you're going to take, he expecting you to favor him. And that was back in 2007. 2 years after when I got out of engineering school. And I was like, geez. So I went back to the guy and gave that ticket back. So when I see my girl doing these things, the question is, how many people has he done that favor to than just the Spoon people? You see the difference when Yasini and the other girl went to Liberia along with Dr. Francine? Did you see them getting in SUV? No. Because I don't think Yasini would be brave enough to go sit down in my SUV because she knows and she understands that it would be a gift and she would be compromised. And that's why when you saw the three ladies went to Liberia, they were welcomed by the people. And they got in their little car and went. And they were even giving ride. They were giving ride by people within the party. That means they did not compromise their mission. But when you see guys like Witherspoon, Benjamin Senvi, and all these blood-sucking vampire guys and going and riding the SUV and put it, he was broad daylight bribing these people. And the U.S. government official at the embassy said, look, damn, what's going on here? These are the guys who call themselves Spoon people. Look what they're doing. They're riding the guy's car. Wow. That is nothing but a bribery right before the people's eyes. We got to do something about it. Hold on. We got to collect intelligence first to see what's going on here. And that's why I don't watch Spoon. Because they got no integrity. They got no vision. They got no principle that they are guided by to operate. I'm not stopping you from going there. But I'm just telling you now that such a mindset cannot be accepted in the society here. It cannot be accepted here. And you know that. There are times that you are giving specific human resources, different training, whether it's by computer or non-computer user. You read these things and they tell you what to do. These are principles that are guided by many people in this country. These guys refuse to ask all the tough questions because they have been compromised. And you that sit there and say nothing, you yourself too, you have been compromised. And you are part and parcel of the corruption that have been labeled against McGill because you became very complacent and never asked the tough question. Have you seen me cursing Mr. Witherspoon mom? No. Have you seen me insulting any of them? No. Why you think they black me? Because they understand that what they are doing, Jay Randy coming here, he will be the destroyer. He will turn people's mind around. So what we will do here, we'll not get Jay Randy the opportunity to come on the show here. Why? Because they know what I do are the right thing. Can you take a gift on your job you do right now? Let me ask you that question. Can you take a gift? When your company tell you not to take a gift, can you take a gift? Can you? Haven't you? Or are you planning to? Be real with yourself. So then why should you sit over there? That is why I believe in Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings work in this society. He understands what would trigger gift. He understands what would do this and what would do that. That's why he stay away from these things. That's why he does things the way he does it because of where he come from. And I can see that same trail. And I'm following that same trail. And that's why many people don't like him. Especially those who are corrupt. That's why they don't like him. And that's why I support him. That's why I follow him. So if you are a strong member of the ANC, learn to call things out. A spade is a spade. If Dr. Francine did not understand that she was being compromised, at least you now know that gift can be given in so many ways. The man gave them a pleasant welcome. They enjoyed. They were in hotel, sitting over there. Who is McGill? Before McGill became a presidential affairs minister, how many people did he welcome in such a fashion? But now he presidential affairs, and you got a bigger platform, and every librarian listen to your station, and you come into the library, he give you that kind of treatment. Something is fundamentally wrong. They say wherever corruption is, check the head. And that's why I'm going after the leadership of Spoon Network. They are also part of what McGee has done in our country. All right, guys, gotta go. 10 minutes to my time. All right, it's 11:35. I gotta get ready for my conference call. I will meet you guys here. This is J. Randy here. We are not here to have millions of people watching us, but we give you what it takes to make you a better person. Mr. Cummings is the right person of that country. We must continue to support him. And Mr. Weir, I already gave you what I wanted to tell you. I can give you all the advice. It's up to you, Mr. Weir. It is up to you to make that decision. Because when you are being thrown in jail, I'm not going there with you. My girl will not go there with you. And it kind of remind me of to the gray side. You see the person, oh, I want to go in the hole. I want to go in the hole. I want to go in the hole. Then the people that are holding their two hands, oh, leave that person. But as soon as you leave their hand to go, they say, oh, you hold me, you hold me. That's how they will be. They will act like they want to support you in every way. But when it comes to whether they're going to snitch, they're going to seize their life away from them because of your doing, they will not do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Depending on how the day goes, we might be here this evening, or else I see you guys tomorrow. I will reach out to my Big 10 to give you guys an update. But this time around, that other radio is being, or that particular project is being run by one of your Big 5, and I'm going to dedicate that responsibility to him to reach out to you guys to see. All right? He said we are going to be giving 2 hours. And let's see whether it's going to be in the morning or in the evening. He hasn't informed me on a specific time of the day, but he said it will be 2 hours during the daytime. And I think it's going to be 2 days in a week. But we'll have to discuss about the financial cost as well. And I'm willing to pay myself because I believe that we should do the right thing for the right reason. So until then, guys, I see you guys. Thank you so much for the time. And God bless you. Have a good day. All right. Thank you so much. And please, we got the cash out. Please contribute. $5, $2, contribute. But I can guarantee you that I will not be sanctioned because of that. If I end up paying the money back so that my knee can be free, I will do that. But I don't want to be on those sanction list. No, we don't want those sanction lists. I see you guys, man. Have a great day. God bless you guys. Bye-bye for now.
depends on reliable electricity, just like any other country, to attract new investments and grow the economy. That is the level of seriousness we are facing. Now, I understand that the electricity tariff in Liberia is expensive. In 2020, Liberians paid 49 cents per kilowatt hour for electricity. For comparison, Americans pay an average of around 13 cents per hour. Ghanaians spend an average of 6 cents. Guineans pay an average of 10 cents. And Ivorians spend an average of 12 cents per kilowatt hour. Why are Liberians paying 4 or 5 times more for less reliable electricity? The answer is that because for each person that illegally connects to a power line, they are making everyone else underwrite the cost of power and making it harder to reduce the cost for those who do pay. They're also making all connections less reliable, which will lead to even more maintenance issues down the road. The only way to reduce the cost of electricity is for every LEC customer to be properly connected and to pay their full electricity bills. Which brings me to my third message. I call on every electricity user in Liberia to pay their bills in order for the power sector here to survive. We are passing out LEC's mid-year briefing to all of you in attendance today for your reference on this situation. As you will see, the first culprit here in this report are those businesses in Liberia who are hooking up illegally to power. Businesses use the most electricity, and those who are not properly paying LEC for the power used are risking their complete shutdown and the possibility that their own businesses will collapse if the power fails. The second culprit is individuals who get an illegal connection for their homes. If you're not using a connection with a meter that is legally installed by an LEC employee, then you are partly to blame for this situation. And you lose your right to complain when your power goes out or when you can't run your fan or charge your phone. The third problem area, and it troubles me to say this, is the government of Liberia. The government of Liberia is the largest customer of LEC, and it is often behind in its payments. In addition, there have been zero, not a single one, zero convictions of businesses or individuals for power theft. Considering the widespread nature of this issue, how can this be? It's not enough to say that the power theft situation is complicated or that it's hard to fix. In order to protect our investments and your future, and to set Liberia on the path to opportunity, we need to see action. Payment of electricity bills, prosecutions, convictions. And frankly, we need to see substantial sentences and fines for power theft. This needs to be a systemic focus. Nothing will improve without a strong response across the judicial system, supported at the highest levels of the Liberian government. In his speech commemorating the delivery of electricity to Peace Island, President Weah said the same thing. And that's my fourth message for you today. I ask the Liberian government and the people to take power theft more seriously. Having invested so heavily in the power sector here, it's not too much for the US government to ask that the Liberian government do more to protect our investments and its own power sector. We've been told by multiple sources that there is a well-organized electricity theft cartel that benefits well-connected businesses and even government officials. We know that some LEC investigators trying to fix this problem have been harassed by some representing themselves as security officials. This is absolutely unacceptable. As major investors in Liberia's power sector, we call on government officials to do everything possible to stop this corruption and prosecute the perpetrators, no matter how important they may be. To sum up this situation, the LEC has lost $220 million in the last 5 years alone to technical and commercial losses and unpaid bills. That is money that could have been spent increasing the grid to provide electricity access for all. In fact, put another way, those who steal from the LEC are not robbing a deep pockets corporation. No, they are stealing from the pro-poor agenda. That's who they're stealing from. So why is the US ambassador sharing this information with you today? Why? Because we care. We care about the development of Liberia and its people. And corruption and power theft are standing in the way of that development. The United States has spent more than $1 billion, billion with a B, and I printed it out because sometimes I forget what a billion is. A billion is $1,000 million. I used to think it was $10 million. It's $1,000 million. The United States has spent more than this just in the past decade, only on the power sector in Liberia. So of all the money we spent over $1 billion in 10 years on the power sector. That's American taxpayer money. The money that the government spends comes from taxpayers. They aren't donations. They're paid because the law tells us we have to pay income taxes. Every American you see in Minnesota, in Georgia, in Texas, that is their hard-earned money being invested in your development. How can we continue to justify that generosity when more than half the power generated by that system is permitted to be stolen and with no consequences? Addressing and fighting corruption is a top priority for the Biden-Harris administration, and we are acting on this priority. In June, President Biden named corruption a core national security interest of the United States. In a White House statement, he said that corruption eats away at the foundations of democratic societies. It makes governments less effective, wastes public resources, and exacerbates inequities in access to services, making it harder for families to provide for their loved ones. Corruption attacks the foundations of democratic institutions, drives and intensifies extremism, and makes it easier for authoritarian regimes to corrode democratic governance. Corruption is a risk to our national security, and we must recognize it as such. Weeks ago, President Biden announced the Summit for Democracy, which will bring together established and emerging democracies, civil society, and the private sector in December. The three principal themes are defending against authoritarianism, promoting respect for human rights in our own nations and abroad, and of course, fighting corruption. Liberia is fortunate to be the oldest republic in the continent of Africa, with a sound system of democratic institutions. So today, we are focused on fighting pervasive corruption, respecting the rule of law, treating every person with dignity, and championing opportunity for all. The United States and Liberia have a long and enduring relationship, and we plan on keeping it that way. Liberians sometimes refer to the United States as their big brother. But since we're 245 years old and you guys are 174 years old, I prefer to say that we are old partners. And neither of us is perfect. But sometimes true partners, real partners, need to deliver tough messages. And that's why we're here today. Corruption prevents progress. And we are in the business of building futures together. To circle back to the Mount Coffee hydropower plant, it was built in the 1960s with US assistance. After Liberia's terrible civil conflicts, we, the Germans, and other donors, rehabilitated that plant to become the incredible power generator that it is today. Today, Mount Coffee is the country's most valuable fixed asset, #1 in the country. We want to help you keep your lights on, your businesses running, your schools in session, and your clinics open. We think Liberians want that too. But that will take a commitment against the corruption of power theft from each and every Liberian, from the government down to each of you. We urge you to do what is right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. So if you have any questions, you can just raise your hand and recognize you. You call your name and the institution you form and pose your question. And remember to remain within the confines of the topic. Thank you.
Thanks again, Mr. Ambassador. My name is Betty Johnson Bayo of the Stage Media. I would like to ask you 2 questions. One is that comparing what you saw at the facility and what has been spent, is it much? And can we say that the U.S. Embassy or the U.S. is frustrated by what was seen at your tour today? And the second one is I'm coming. Let me just get it straight. I write it down. Okay, great. So, there's a power theft law, and I would like to ask on how do you think such law can be more effective wherein we do not have such losses in years to come? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Betty. Actually, it's good to start by saying that what we saw in Bushrod was really heartwarming and very impressive. What they've done with the resources that they found when they came back to resurrect the power industry here, they have done everything at a level of where as much as possible the utility has sold scrap that can't be used anyway, that was just lying around. So in cleaning up that facility, they assembled the scrap and then they sold the scrap, and with the money that they earned, they rehabilitated buildings. It's really quite impressive, the work they've done with using very few resources at the facility. As far as the overall investment in the whole country, I think it's easy to forget that the entire network where it existed, and it didn't even used to, I don't believe it ever covered the whole country, but every part of that system was taken apart during the Troubles. They took the wires down to sell, they tore the towers down to sell, they sold transformers. Some of the infrastructure actually left the country. So it is a daunting task. They're really, the way LAC feels is this isn't really a rehabilitation of the power system, it's more of a startup. It's almost more like starting from zero. That's how they feel. So today I was very impressed. I was very impressed. But it makes me a little more depressed because I see these professionals doing so much and working so hard to make this work, and then to think that 50% of the customers are not paying for what they're taking. That's very frustrating. And how can such a law be improved or changed? Well, I'll just finish the second question, is that, you have to start somewhere. And there have been 0 convictions. I believe, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe once you start getting people convicted and sentenced and actually in jail, then maybe people will start to take this seriously. But I go back to that other line. People think they're stealing from a wealthy corporation, and they don't understand the ramifications of what they're doing. When they steal, they're not stealing from a wealthy corporation. They're stealing from the poorest of the poor who will never get electricity because the grid can't be expanded.
Okay. Thank you, Ambassador. Joaquin Sendolo is my name. I report for the Daily Observer newspaper. I think the investigation has unveiled some things that even government officials and some other people benefiting from this power theft thing because they are not paying their quota and so forth as it's supposed to be. But my question is, what consequence does Liberia stand to face from you, the donors, if the trend of events surrounding power theft and corruption continues?
It's a great question, and thank you for that. I mean, I think it just follows logically that if we're taking all this money from taxpayers and the result is that people in Liberia are living for free, eventually our Congress will say, okay, we're not going to appropriate any more money to that project. So I think, and I think all of the donor countries feel the same way, I would assume. So the danger is that the donations will stop.
Let me take Dennis.
Okay, I think the question was asked.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll take front page.
My name is Gerald Koyinen. I read for Front Page African newspaper. Mr. Ambassador, you expressed frustration over the government failure of prosecuting those involved in this act. Beside this press conference, is the embassy, will the embassy go further to have one-on-one meeting, face-to-face meeting with officials from the presidency, from the minister, those responsible for this sector? Secondly, if the government asks the United States government to come in with support in curbing power thefts with ideas and other support, will you be willing to help in that direction? And what do you make of the management structure of LEC as a whole?
I would say we've been communicating pretty much since I got here 7 months ago about the problem with electricity theft. Certainly for the last 3 months, we've been bringing it up regularly in just about every meeting with government officials who are in ministries related to power. You asked whether we'd be willing to contribute to systems that will make it easier to control power theft.
Yeah.
I believe that there's, that LEC is looking at technical fixes, and I think other donors, including the World Bank, are considering options. But I can't answer whether we'd be willing to fund any such systems. What I can tell you is we'd be very unlikely to fund any such systems if the government's not going to prosecute anybody. And the last thing was about the management.
Yeah.
I think the management has really done a commendable job, considering where they started. And I think everybody involved in the management looks forward to the day when librarians will be running everything with librarians. But for now, I think it's probably best to get through some complicated issues, and someday soon, the management structure will move over to domestic management.
Good?
Sorry?
We take a few more.
Yeah, so we actually plan to take 3 institutions, but
We take 2 more.
with your permission, okay, then Dennis, you can go ahead.
Yes, I'm Dennis Nipson, I report for Joe FM. There's this question I want to ask. You made mention of cartel, some cartel that have been formed in terms of the power theft. Do the American embassy tend to name those that are part of the cartel, as done in time past, that when someone is caught in any act, you are noted for publishing names of those officials?
No, we don't feel that that's our lane. You have a Ministry of Justice here, you have police, the LEC has inspectors, so that's really not in our lane. It's just that we have heard consistent stories about the existence of such a cartel. And the way I feel is, if I'm hearing about it, if it's that pervasive, then it probably wouldn't be that hard for someone who really wants to come down on it to get some evidence and take action. So,
Okay, so Haji,
Yeah.
last one.
Mr. Ambassador, good afternoon.
good afternoon.
I'm Haji Masala, I report for Spoon TV, Spoon FM. We visit customers on a regular basis. They tell us that whenever the meter go faulty or they have problem with their system, they report to LEC and LEC don't respond. Sometimes some communities go off for almost a year, and that could cause some losses to the system. Have you identified that, and what will you put forward in order for LEC to respond in time whenever there is breakdown?
I would say 2 things to that. Number one, I believe LEC recognizes that they have some challenges, which is one reason why they just rehabilitated. We also funded the rehabilitation of the Waterside Customer Service Center. They've modernized the center so that they can track complaints better. So they know it's a challenge, and they are working. They're committed to working hard on that issue. But see, I would say concurrently, how much can they work on that problem when 50% of the revenue is not being paid? So it's sort of like the harder they run, the slower they go, because they're trying to make up for all these customers who aren't even really customers. So I guarantee you that if more people paid, LEC would concurrently do a better job of customer service. Those 2 go hand in hand.
All right. Thank you very much today for coming today. Thank you, Ambassador. Appreciate it. Please stick around because I have the remarks and other things to hand out to you.
That is front page
Thank you all very
Africa
much. Really appreciate it.
paper. We've been live at the U.S. Embassy when the ambassador, Mr. Mark McCarthy, been hosting his first major press conference since he took office in Liberia, and he spoke on Liberia's energy loss, especially to power theft, those problems, and he gave some strong message as you listen to him during the live broadcast. My name is Gerald Koyinen. I've been here for Front Page Africa newspaper and Front Page Africa online TV. Thank you for watching.